Hey there, Squirrel Army! How's it going? For today, we're talking about just a slightly good card, Elven Chorus. You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Alright, so the name is being translated, so it might not be exactly Elven Chorus, but whatever. Basically, that will be the name. And I know, again, some of the uh, text here of this card is being translated. So again, maybe there's a few little things here and there that are slightly different in regards to how this card works. But I don't think any of that will make it any less good. This seems like a cracked card, honestly. It seems like just another new staple for EDH. So, 4 mana enchantment. You can look at the top card. You can cast creature spells from the top of your library. We were just talking about this style of an effect in EDH and why it's so good and why you want this sort of effect. So, hey, go back and just check that one out, because everything I said about why those cards are really good applies directly to this. So, yeah. And also, creatures you control can tap to add 1 mana of any color. That seems quite good, especially when you're in a deck that needs a lot of fixing. Even so, it just turns all your creatures into mana dorks. And if you have a way to give your creatures haste, and assuming you don't run into the Bowler's Citadel problem that everyone always runs into with these cards, of hitting too many lands or too many of not the type that you don't care about, which always seems to happen, but whatever. It's because you're churning so much through your deck, and once you've cast so many creatures or whatever, you're more likely to see these other types. So it does get worse and worse the game goes along, in a sense, because you are more likely to see more lands, more enchantments, more instant sorceries, and that sort of thing. But still, I still think that this is a very good card, because, again, you drop it on 4, you might have played like a 1-drop, 2-drop, and a 3-drop. Like right there, like you've got 3 mana out of this thing's 4. So if you've done that, then you can easily cast up to a 3 mana value creature from the top of your library without having to worry about summoning sickness. So, yeah, they're not always going to do that, but again, just that alone potential is really good. The problem, I think, now becomes, again, like, this is the problem with our format. We have access to just all the cards that have ever existed. And where can you slot this? Because you've got to take something out to put this in. And I know someone's just going to be like, cut a land or something. What? That's no way to add a card like this. You can only really cut lands for mana and dorks or for 0-drop mana rocks or cheap 1-drop mana rocks and things like that. So there's no way you're cutting a land for this. But then you're like, what's the next worst card that I'm playing that's a card draw spell or an effect? And that's hard. That's hard to, like, pin down. It does depend, of course, but again, like, if you're just playing a random jank deck or whatever, that's a bit different. But yeah, like, obviously. But yeah, those people that are playing, the high end of stronger Magic, not talking about CDH here, I'm talking about beyond upgraded precons and things like that. So yeah, that kind of level up towards CDH. And of course, nowhere near CDH, because this would be a terrible card, probably, in those formats. And then again, might not be terrible if you're very creature heavy, and this is maybe like one of the top cards in your deck or something. I don't know. But yeah, very unlikely, I would say. But anyway, it's one of those things. But sure, still, again, getting into that, it's super tough. There's some stuff that's out there, and I go, yeah, it could be kind of this, or it could be that. The thing that I do like about this, again, and those other sort of look at the top, you can play the top, is that you don't have to rely on what's on your hand. Yes, you have to rely on what's in your library, but again, your library is going to be way more diverse than your hand is. And just that extra card advantage, just beautiful. Really strong, just well worth it. But anyway, that is gonna be a really tough decision for most people, including me. And then some people might just go, you know what, bro, this ain't for me, because I've kind of had enough. And I get that, because it's the same thing all of the time with Wizards of the Coast and whatnot and all of this. I kind of halfway want to go on a big rant about it all at some point. The thing is, I don't know how interested people are in that rant. I know everyone kind of feels the same way, like feeling like there's just too much, there's just product overload, guys. Like, and you can't look at a set without finding 5 of the 6 cards that you basically have to add to your deck. So it's just like, bro, I haven't updated my deck in like 10 years or whatever for a reason, because I just can't keep up with all this stuff. And that's, understandable. But the thing I honed in on this was its mana potential. So there's a couple of cards that you, if you do a thing or whatever, like Mentor of the Meek, and Lifecrafter's Bestiary, you've got to pay 1 mana whenever you cast something. to draw a card, or whenever something toughness, blah blah blah, 2 or less enters, or whatever else it is. They're good because they're cheap, like 3 or 4 mana. Basically, when I'm saying that, sorry, 3 or 4 mana, they're 3 mana, they're 4 mana to draw a card. And this is 4 mana to effectively draw a card. Yes, it's not in your hand, but you can play it like it's in your hand as long as it's a creature. And again, like if you're a deck that's, mostly creatures, oh boy, you're gonna probably hit like half the time or something. So, yeah, that mana potential just makes me think it's something like Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Because the thing about Bestiary that I always forget is its scrying effect at the beginning of upkeep. Like, I always forget about it. Like, someone says, "Oh, did you just scry?" And I'm like, or whatever, when I draw a card, and I'm going, ugh, or whatever. And they're like, "Did you scry?" And I'm like, "No, I forgot." Every time. Like, it's one of those things. Sometimes some triggers are incredibly easy to forget. I think Scry, to me, is one of them because it's just such a small thing that often doesn't do much. And even if I did remember, I look at the top and I go, oh well, still nothing that I would have wanted and still wouldn't have got me out of the predicament I'm in. But this would have, because the problem I usually have is being sitting there and stuck on only a couple of mana and just no super duper good card advantage or card draw. So it kind of would solve that issue. And even if someone said, "I'll kill your dudes in response," or "kill one of your dudes in response," or even "kill this thing in response," yeah, you can't cast them at flash, but still, actually, that's not as good. But still, like if someone does go to kill your dudes in response or something, you still can float the mana. So they're not going to stop you unless they're blowing this thing up. So there is that. But I think that's enough discussion about this. Because I can't really say too much more because I think we've covered it pretty well. And I think there's going to be more YouTubes out there covering this card, but I don't care. Like, this is my channel. I'm going to talk about the cards that I like and that I think, hey, this could go into a bunch of decks, whatnot. But you guys can let me know what you guys think. Write your thought down there in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed this one and hope you'll join me in again in the next rant.